They catch you later and you have to pay the catch-up, and it's expensive. So.
All right, it's 8 o'clock. Let's call the Water and Light Commission meeting for November 6, 2024 to order, please. Please call roll.
Commissioner Grindy?
Yes.
Commissioner Quirk?
Yes.
Commissioner Rapaz?
Yes.
Commissioner Riopel?
Yes.
Approved minutes from previous meeting, October 16, 2024.
Move.
Second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Rapaz?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
Bills and payroll.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Rapaz?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
Comments from the public? Nothing. Widseth. Steve.
Oh, Todd.
Did you guys get an update?
Yes. Todd, he emailed in and was forwarded to us by Keith, and everything looks good.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. Thank you for checking.
Yeah, and as far as myself, I really don't have anything. Again, like we reported at the last meeting, we'll be, as winter kind of goes on here, we'll be working on some of that lead service line work and, trying to getting on the PPL for future funding, stuff like that. So again, that deadline's May 2nd, I believe. So that'll be something, again, we just work on through the winter and, make sure we secure funding for that work if and when the city needs to complete it. So that's really all I have. I was all geared up to give Todd's report. So.
Any questions for Steve?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The one and only Mr. Gulstead.
Well, thank you. Good morning. It's a fine day. Don't have a whole lot to report. I did get the easements and everything drafted for the Hawks and the project out there. I've been playing phone tag with Mr. Pierce. I just talked to Todd about it. I'm going to try and call him again today just to see if I can get those signed up and ready for that project. Other than that, a little bit later on here, I'll help Brianna if she does with this earn sick and save time. I put the policy together, and we'll go from there.
Any questions for Ron? Thank you, Mr. Gulstead.
Thank you, sir.
Old business, nothing. 6-month probation period. Is he on parole?
Good morning, yes. So Nick McNelis has been a probationary employee for the past 6 months. During this time, Nick has met or exceeded all the certification requirements of him. And his probation is set to end on November 13th of 2024. So at this time, my recommendation would be that the Water and Light Commission approve Nick McNelis's probationary period and recommend his appointment as permanent.
I'll move on that.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Rapaz?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sounds like you're happy with them.
Very much so.
Good, good. Thank you. Earn sick and save time for part-time and seasonal employee policy. The other boss.
Good morning. State of Minnesota recently passed a law that provides earned sick and safe time for part-time and seasonal employees. And it's really for all full-time employees too, but our current policy meets or exceeds what the minimum requirement is, so we're good to go there. So we updated the Water and Light Department policy with the new ESST language to include verbiage for the seasonal and part-time staff. And so then that was attached, and yeah, Ron had done some work on that too. Currently we don't have any seasonal and part-time, so it doesn't apply to us, but in case that we do get some, we wanted to have it in our policy. After 80 hours, seasonal part-time earn 1 hour for every 30 hours worked. And so then right now we don't have a good solution to manage it in the software. So that is part of one of the things that when we're looking at software, something to kind of help manage that. I know the city is exploring other options, but currently this is what they do is they front load the 80. And so we're just kind of mimicking that. And then by the time we get maybe seasonal and part-time people, things might change from the state, so we'll be back. But for now, recommend approving the ESST language as attached.
Question.
Yeah.
Is that 30 consecutive days to get the hour, or
30 hours.
30 hours? Okay.
Yeah.
It's 1 hour for every 30 hours worked. Is what they get credited for.
Okay, so they could work 1 week, 20 hours the next week. Okay, as long as they get up to that 30-hour plateau.
And they have to work at least 80 hours
Yep.
to be eligible.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So they start earning it right away, but they wouldn't essentially be able to use it or have it until they meet at least that 80 hours worked.
Now, does that just stay that way until you get to that? Is it a 3-month deal, and then maybe have to either get let go or get made a full-time employee? Is that?
Well, the part-time and the full-time and seasonal employee doesn't change. Any of the rules regarding that doesn't change. Okay. It's just any part-time or seasonal employee, full-time employee. The state has mandated earn sick and save time. So everybody gets it across the board. And essentially, you can use it for anything. It doesn't matter if you have 1 employee or if you have 5,000 employees. Everybody in the state that needs to follow it. So, and right now, like I said, or like Brianna was saying, is there's 3 different options that you can use. The city and Water and Light is choosing front-loading 80 hours availability upon them qualifying, and then they can use it for whatever purpose. It doesn't roll over at the end of the year, or you don't pay it out at the end of the year, but you can accumulate and roll over up to 80 hours and keep it, So it's just what we're doing right now. They might end up going on an accrual method at some point in time. Then it would be 46 hours, but they could still accumulate up to 80.
Yep.
The reason for the 80 to front load it is for budgetary purposes. It's easier for us to budget the 80 up front and then to keep adding as we go.
Yep, and the other thing is too is, if you do the front load 80, it is not required to pay out at the end of the year. If you do the accrual, that is required to pay out. The one thing is if they were to maybe work part-time over the summer, come back over the winter, they leave within, 180 days?
Yeah.
You do have to give that ESST back that they had earned essentially when they worked during the summer. You do give that back and they start with that bank, and then go forward from there. So that is the difference, but yeah.
Okay.
So unless there's any other
Good
questions.
work.
Yep.
Forever changing.
Yep.
So we need a motion on that?
Yes, please.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Please call roll.
Grindy,
Yes.
Quirk,
Yes.
Rapaz.
Yes.
Riefel.
Yes.
Minnesota Municipal Power Agency weighted voting amendment resolution.
Yes.
It's a lot.
What was that?
The mouthful.
It is, yep. So yeah, MMPA, Minnesota Municipal Power Agency Board of Directors identified an issue with the current weighted voting definition. So the MMPA board approved the amendment. Approved the amendment to the MMPA agency agreement changing how weighted votes are calculated. We did attach the memo and the resolution to be reviewed by you guys. But yeah, the biggest thing was that they were changing how everybody gets weighted votes calculated depending on the power to like us. And then they had realized that that a member could receive a disproportionate number of votes from sales to a large customer if MMPA invested capital to provide transmission distribution directly to the customer rather than the member. So that's kind of the biggest change, is they're excluding that going forward. MMPA board has already adopted or approved this, but they do need approval by both the Water and Light Commission, and it is on the City Council agenda as well for tonight for approval. So recommend Water and Light Commission approve and sign the MMPA amendment to the agency agreement resolution.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Please call roll.
Grindy.
Yes.
Quirk.
Yes.
Rapaz.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Department heads, Todd.
Morning. Got a couple things here. Water crews are out pumping the hydrants down and installing the markers on the hydrants. We just had we got one new house service left to install. They just started digging the basement on that one. I think the basement's done, just waiting for the dirt work to be finished so we can trench that one. The guys are still out marking curb stops and on the GIS system. A&L Potato, the new electric service, the 1200 amp service for their new building. We did remove the transformer and leveled it up, and then we landed the new wires in there, and that service is all up and running right now. And still working on the bucket truck quotes, getting closer on the delivery times on the trucks have shortened up a little bit. So I think we'll probably be looking at a 2025.
Figured with the hurricanes, I'd get pushed back.
I did too. I thought so, yeah.
So Jamie David went to the water school and took his license. His license had lapsed, so he had enough time to so we went back and got that, took the test. There was some other guys from the water plant that went too, so we're still waiting for the results on that, but went to that. So we are still also installing the water meters as appointments are coming in. We got one more round of notes to hand out. So Tyler informed me yesterday, I think we have 80 appointments or meters installed out of the 200, so that was pretty good from what we started with, the last 200 there, so that's moving along. Working on ordering the 6-inch meters for the large commercial customers, American Crystal Sugar, and then we have one other one. The delivery estimated times are between April and May, so that would work out pretty good with Crystal being down in that June and July time. And we had 3 transformers delivered from on the contract from 2022. After inspection, they were really in tough shape. I rejected the order. They were sent back to the wholesaler. I was informed that they had been sitting in a yard somewhere and somebody released them. So they're waiting on the new transformers, and hopefully we'll get those sometime soon. We're sitting okay on those. And I mean, if worse comes to worse, we can cancel that order maybe and get some somewhere else on the contract. So other than that, that's about all I have, unless you have questions.
No questions, sir.
Thank you.
Brian.
Yes, sir. Recently, the water treatment plant sent 2 operators to attend the Northwest District of American Waterworks Conference, as Todd had mentioned earlier. One of the operators from the water treatment plant took their Class A test, as they were eligible to do that. Again, we haven't heard back on those results yet either. Then also CorePro Waterworks Incorporated was at the plant. That would have been on Monday, and they performed their annual inspection and maintenance to our cathodic protection system. No replacements or upgrades were required at this time. And also our maintenance crews have been out checking the vaults for heat and making sure the heaters are working in those locations. I've been working with Keith Bicklum from MMUA to select a date to hold our annual chlorine process and safety management training. Potential topics to be covered would be reviewing our emergency evacuation plan. And then lastly, looking ahead, chemical bid opening is scheduled to take place on the 19th of this month, after which we'll do the tabulation results and present them to the Commission on December 4th. That's all I have.
Questions for Brian? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Brianna.
Good morning again. Just want to, maybe this will be a good update for Randy and anybody listening, but it is that time of year where it's getting cold, especially anybody with all electric heat. Those bills tend to get quite expensive over the winter. So just encourage those that are maybe struggling with their utility bills to reach out to Tri-Valley Opportunity Council Energy Assistance and make sure to apply. We will be getting funding probably in the next 2-ish weeks, I would say. We were hoping by the end of this week, but
It's here.
oh, it is. Okay, well, look at that. It's here. So that's good. So starting to come in for people that have already applied. And reminder that even if you applied last year, you do need to reapply every year. And then definitely continue to open your mail because we do send out bills. If you are behind, there's a little box on there that says, you know, if you're up for disconnection, to please call and make payment arrangements. And then we do send out a final disconnect notice prior to disconnection. But and then over the winter months, if heat is your primary, or if electric is your primary heat source, we do put customers on a limiter. So power will go on and off every half an hour. And then been busy working on rates, doing some research. As for utility deposits, we haven't changed or increased those since 2015. Rates, in addition to a lot of people that leave and don't let us know, have been increasing quite a bit. And so to try kind of help with that a little bit, I'm going to propose increasing our deposits for 2025 for both non-electric and all-electric heat. And then also we've received an increased number of NSFs, or return payment charges, on utility bills, auto pays and that kind of stuff, return checks. So I'm going to propose that as part of the rate process as well, as we haven't previously. We've absorbed that cost, but just as we've been getting more and more of those, I feel like it's time, and it is pretty standard across a lot of utilities to pass that charge back along to the customer. So unless there's any questions or thoughts or recommendations on any of that.
Go ahead, Tim.
Just one question on, do we accept credit card payments?
Yep.
Do we charge for that too?
We don't currently, know.
I know we're thinking about doing that across the board, Park and Rec, a few others, so it might be something to take into consideration, maybe a 3 to 5%.
Yeah, we do. In general, yeah, we budget anywhere between $35,000 and $50,000 a year for things like ACH fees, bank fees, credit card fees, all that kind of stuff. I think what'll really come into play is when we get a new software, what does that credit card processing charge? Right now, the ones that we take over the phone or take in office, we thankfully get a really low rate from that provider. So that's good. Our rates through the website are quite a bit higher. You know, and so you'd have to kind of maybe weigh all those together to see if you wanted to do that. But
most of the businesses are starting to charge for that, so it's just another idea, cost-saving measure.
Cheaper than bonds.
I have my opinion, but I will.
I don't know. I hear what you're saying. It's a cost to us, but it's a convenience, and we're getting our money right away too. We're not dealing with bad checks or things like that. So I sometimes wonder if one outweighs the other, but I do know that yes, a lot of places are now. But then on the other hand, you start doing that, then you're going to have customers start coming and saying, okay, do I get a 2% cash discount for paying my bill? Do I get a 2% if I pay it early? Do I pay it on time? You know, I mean, you could start going down the list here and start nitpicking. And I just like to make it simple and easy, and I don't like to see, you know, our charge-offs get too high again. And talking to charge-offs, you know about where we're at yet this year?
Yep. I can bring where we're at so far this year.
I'd like to know
time.
before you give us the big one, if we're creeping up higher than last year or about the same or whatever. But
Yep. And the other thing too is when people are disconnected, we do not take checks as payment at that time. We only do cash or card or money order, I guess.
Yeah.
So that would be the other thing, is that would, you know, be an additional fee on top of the reconnect and potential increase in deposit that would be required at the time at that time, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, you know, when you say if we charge for a credit card and then we sit here and tell them that they either have to pay cash or a credit card, we're telling them they have to get penalized and they have to pay us with the credit card. So that, to me, that's not, you know, I'd rather.
Some of that.
I don't consider it a penalty. I consider it a fee that it's life right now. It's the way credit
Well,
cards
it's
work.
accountability.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, do you have any idea what that actual fee costs us a year?
Yeah, if I can get that number too, yep, for just credit card fees.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'd be interesting to know. That kind of gives you a better idea of,
Yep.
you know, do we
Yep.
want to charge the 3% or whatever?
Yep,
You
and-
negotiate with the bank right now or the credit card company, right? You negotiate for the rate.
With the website, you don't get an option. It is what it is, and
Yeah.
they tell you what that fee is. Yep, and then like I said, our one that we do locally, like the little terminals we have at the counter, and then when we do over the phone, we do like a virtual terminal option. Those fees are significantly lower. And honestly, I asked a couple years ago with both Friends and American Federal to see what options they had, and they couldn't touch our local readers. They couldn't beat that rate. So.
Okay, but like I said, credit card is a convenience for the customer and it is for us too, because it gives the consumer the availability to pay from home, from work, on the road, traveling, wherever, without having to mail a check in and rely on the U.S. Post Office to not lose it and deliver it on time. And then there's a time lapse too when you do the deposit with the checks till they clear and you get the money back. And so where a credit card is more instantaneous. So.
Yep, and currently we do not have the way to auto pay on a credit card. With the new software, we might have that option. That part gets a little muddy, I think, with credit cards and like having it auto assess the fee when it's on auto pay. So I'd have to do some more research on that too.
Okay.
So, but yes, I will bring some of those numbers back for next week because that'll all be important, I think, to think about as we look at rates for next year.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Any more questions for Brianna on that? Thanks, Bree.
Okay, thank you.
Carla.
Nothing unless you have questions.
Anything for Carla? Jordan. Our money giver-wayer.
Morning.
Morning.
Morning, buddy.
So today at 10, I got another meeting with MMUA discussing that scholarship and, you know, how some of the other MMUA members want to revamp that going into 2025. We met on the 24th of October, and the person in charge of that in HR from MMUA has drafted sort of a proposal, and we're going to review that today, and then from there that'll go to the board of directors at their next meeting. So hopefully we get some good news back on that. Looking at those rebates over the last 2 weeks, we finally got that Achieve Therapy rebate paid out. So that was 33 LED fixtures, 3 exit signs replaced over at their remodel over there. On the residential side, we have primarily furnaces, so the ECM fan motors. Then back on October 23rd, we held the Career Expo over at the Alaris Center, so that included about 2,100 students from 60 different schools. We had about 80 different booths just from local businesses and the utility industry, some of the colleges. So I want to thank Tyler, Andrew, and Clinton for joining me and putting on some great demos for all the kids there. We had a really good turnout, and always is a good event. Looking forward, Tuesday, November 19th, Water and Light's going to have a booth at the Family Resource Center 1-year celebration in East Grand Forks. So they're another resource we work with on the utility side, so we'll be there that Tuesday. And then we registered for the Holly Dazzle Parade, which is going to be Sunday, November 24th, and that's going to be downtown again. Same thing as the last 2 years. We're going to have a truck in there and hand out some things. Any questions?
I have a question maybe for you and Todd. How's our infrared camera working? Our heat sensing infrared camera, that doing okay yet?
Yeah, we have a couple handhelds, so the guys, if they're out working on a junction box or something, and they have a couple handheld ones that are just a little bit bigger than a credit card, and then Lance has our other camera, the latest one we have, and he shoots substations or anything else that needs to be done. It seems to be working fine,
Okay.
as far as I know.
That's the first question. And now for Jordan, I'd like you to come up with something for our customers. Not quite sure how to do it. I'd like to give away 2 opportunities to have their house shot with the infrared for, insulation purposes and what. I mean, whether you put it out on the statement that if they call in or whatever, and we pick 2 out of a hat or something. I'm trying to just promote some of the programs and that, and I think if we can maybe take some infrared pictures of a couple houses that are in need of some repair or weatherization or whatever, it might turn, flashlight, light bulb on for them or whatever, and they might, go ahead and try to do something and maybe utilize some of our rebates. But, we have the technology and we have the stuff to do it. I think at one time, were we first charging to go out and do somebody's house like $150 or $50 or something?
I don't recall that, but we can look back and find out. I know, Brianna, when they Tri-Valley, when they do their weatherization, they come in with their camera and they shoot everything, and then they can see what they need, So.
But, maybe, if we did somebody's house for them and they realized that, it's cold now and you can see all the stuff leaking out, then maybe we can move them, and help them out a little bit and get them over to, Tri-Valley, or use some of our rebates or something to, keep their costs down and their heat.
Maybe just a paid water bill would qualify them for a shot in the thing.
Yeah.
That might be the easiest thing.
Yeah.
Definitely look at a way to put something like that together.
Yeah, because like I said, we have the stuff to do it. I just it'll just jumpstart some of this a little bit, I think, because I think, some people think their house is, mine's sealed up really good until they really get a picture of it and see where it's leaking and how bad it is. So, but that was all I had. So.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Commissioner reports. Anything?
Nope.
Motion to adjourn till the 20th of November.
I'll second.
Please call roll.
Grindy?
Yes.
Quirk?
Yes.
Rapaz?
Yes.
Riopel?
Yes.